Hello, folks. I thought I would continue with what I was doing yesterday, which is talking about the stuff that I've been putting on Instagram. And for those of you who missed it, if you follow me on Instagram, and that doesn't matter to me if you do or not, I have been putting quotes from different books that I've been reading on Instagram. I'll just take a picture of the book and post that quote or that page. And people seem to like it, and I thought I'd just talk about some of the quotes I've been posting. So I'll read them to you, so you don't actually need to see them on Instagram. But if you want to see them before I talk about them, I'll put them on Instagram. And I don't promise that I'll talk about every one of them, but I'm going to talk about a few that I've done. Sorry, I was looking away from the camera. This is another one, comes from The Wholehearted Way, just like the one yesterday. In fact, it comes from the page right after the page on which the quote from yesterday came. So I'm going to read it out of the book because it'll be a little easier for me to see than trying to look at my phone. And the page I put on is page 17, and it says, this is the part I put up. In order to see the whole universe, we have to get out of the universe, but this is impossible. We are already in the world meaning universe. We are already standing on a certain point, and we see only part of the world each time. I know that there is an incense stand on the Tokonoma alcove behind me, but I do not see it now. What's behind me? Oh, those roots and things. In this moment, I do not see it, so it is not reality for me. As a memory, I know that it is there. Our own picture of the world is a kind of a fantasy made in our memory, in our brain. Each person has this limitation. That is why we have problems, troubles, fighting, arguments. The angles we see the world from are different, and Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, the Supreme Awareness, is to see that we cannot see the whole world, to understand that we are deluded and limited. This means we have to let go of our viewpoints. That means we sit on the zafu being the cushion we sit on for zazen. We sit in the correct posture and breathe quietly and let go of thought. Just do zazen. In our sitting, we are freed from our limitations by letting go of our limited views. This is the Supreme Awareness. I do not think Supreme Awareness or Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi means something we can attain, something we can achieve. But when we let go of our limited view, Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi is there, before or beyond our perception or thought that I am aware. Just let go of everything, memory or consciousness or whatever. Only when we are actually doing this are we free from the limitations of our individuality. And interestingly enough, that is another area where teachings of Zen kind of parallel the teachings of Advaita Vedanta. The book I didn't bring it here. I would show it to you, but I didn't bring it out with me. But the book I've been referring to often, I Am That, talks about the awareness that is before the thought, I am that, I am. Actually, is what he says. And then there's another paragraph on the following page which I didn't put on Instagram, so bonus content for you guys. Our own life itself is universal and also unique. Our life is pervading the whole universe, yet my life is just myself. We cannot share our lives with others, so this universality and individuality is completely present at this moment, and we should create our own way of life, our own way of practice based on that universal reality. That is the wondrous Dharma, Myoho, as I talked about yesterday. That is what all Buddha Tathagatas are transmitting, and what we are following and trying to practice each moment, day after day, year after year, until the end of our lives. And through our practice, the Buddha Dharma manifests and influences other people. This is like a circle. This is what Dogen Zenji calls Jijuyu Zammai, and describes at the beginning of Bendowa, and then we get a lot of Bendowa. So one of Dogen's ideas that he pushes a lot throughout Shobo Genzo is that we aren't necessarily aware of our own enlightenment. That awareness of enlightenment and enlightenment, well, I was going to say they're two different things. Well, they're the same thing, but they're two different things. In the sense of, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it was aliens. In the sense of we don't need to be aware of enlightenment to say that we possess enlightenment. Moments when we become aware of our enlightenment are rare, and they do happen, but they don't mean that enlightenment has suddenly happened at that moment. It just means that for a moment you became aware of it, and some of us have that experience, and it's nice, but it's not absolutely necessary. The thing that you kind of have to have, and he talks about this, that is Shohaku Okumura, who wrote the piece I just wrote, talks about this a little in a paragraph I skipped over, is it's good to have a teacher. It's good to have someone you can meet who maybe has noticed this once or twice, has noticed enlightenment once or twice, and can kind of help you have faith that it exists. Faith is one of the weird concepts in Buddhism, because faith, usually, at least the way I learned it when I was a little kid, was belief in something you can't prove. And in a sense, belief in enlightenment is a little bit like that, because most of us are having such a hard time with our various problems and things that go on in our minds that we're missing the essential enlightenment that we already possess, and therefore it becomes very hard for us to believe that we even possess it at all. There's no difference, though, between your unenlightened state and your enlightened state. There isn't a state that comes across and goes, woo, and then you're enlightened from then on. Rather, it's a noticing of what has already been there all along, like it was just a dream all along, that kind of a feeling. Another thing I'd like to comment on, because it's kind of related to the piece that I just read, is something I put up on Twitter. Now, don't follow me on Twitter, because Twitter is a horrible, horrible thing, and the only reason I'm on it at all is to promote my stuff and to kind of, get myself out there. But if you don't have to be out there promoting things, don't go on Twitter. It's awful. But one thing I put on there, because I like to put on good things on Twitter every once in a while, is a quote from Reverend Shindo Aoyama, abbess of Aichi Senmon Nisodo, she's a Zen teacher and monk and priest in Japan who actually teaches a lot of non-Japanese people. She says, "Be humble and realize that you are only capable of seeing one side of the whole truth." And there's a reason I put that on Twitter, because that's a problem on Twitter. But that's something I think we all should try to remember all the time. Even if you are seeing something that's totally true, even if you're absolutely certain you're right, that's still only a one-sided view. That isn't an all-encompassing view. So anything you think that you're absolutely right about, maybe you are absolutely right about that, but that's only a partial view, because that's all you're capable of as a human being, is this partial view. And even when it comes to enlightenment, you're only capable of a partial understanding of enlightenment. So people who have, amazing experiences of awakening and all that, one of the problems that is often faced by people who have those kinds of experiences is that sometimes they can be so much wider than the normal point of view that we make a mistake and think that we've figured it all out. But you've only kind of grasped, one part of the elephant. You know that metaphor probably about the blind, 5 blind guys trying to explain what an elephant is, and one grabs the trunk and says, oh, it's sort of like a snake, and one grabs the ear and says, no, it's flat like a pancake, and so on. That's the way you get it. Each blind person's point of view anyway, each blind person's experience of the elephant is true as far as it goes, but it's not the complete picture of the elephant. And that's kind of what happens even in the experience of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, complete, unsurpassed, perfect enlightenment. Complete and unsurpassed and perfect as it is, it's only your version of the complete, perfect, unsurpassed enlightenment. So there you go. Next time you go on social media saying, I know the truth about, whatever the hell it is that you know the truth about, well, maybe you do, but you only know that one little view of the truth, like holding a little like the inside of a paper towel holder, like you used to do with as a kid, and putting it up to your eye. That's how much of the truth you can see. So there's my message. I hope that was a little bit enjoyable or edifying or whatever. If you want to help me, support me, you can send a donation to the link you're seeing below on the screen. If you're having financial trouble, don't send me a donation. Those donations are the main source of my income, not book royalties, not speaking fees. I've noticed it has become fashionable on the comments section of these videos to get mad about me for saying that in every video. Just be glad if you don't have a job in which you have to beg your boss to pay you every time you do a little piece of the job. That's what I'm saying for now. Anyway, have a good time all the time. We'll see you later. Bye.